Alrighty then, welcome down everyone, welcome back to another week of Those Nerds You Know.
Yeah.
My name is Ethan.
And I'm David.
And we are Those Nerds You Know.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in. This week, we're going to get straight into it. We're going to talk about the new Voltron season. Season 4 of Voltron. All 6 episodes of it.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Watch it in a sitting.
Yeah, you can. You literally can. I didn't, but
I did.
Certainly possible. So what do we want to
do we want to start with... Do we want to go into plot? Or do we not want to go into plot? Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely spoilers.
Check out the show if you haven't, or,
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, this
is season 4, so...
4 seasons
yeah,
in.
So...
You don't listen to this if you don't...
If you don't know what's happening.
If you're never planning to watch the show, sure, listen to this. That's
remind how season 4 picked up. Like, what happened in season 3 that we were left off in season 4? I forget. I know Shiro came back. Shiro came back to the team, and Prince Lotor was leading the Galra Empire while Zarkon was recovering from season 2's finale.
Yes, we got our introduction to Lotor. He and his group. The major plot point I think of season 3 was Lotor and his group getting an asteroid, a comet.
Yeah, that was like it was split between dimensions or whatever.
Yeah, it's made of a material that can travel through dimensions without being affected.
And
it's what Voltron is made of. We got that revelation, and he's been using it to make his own ships.
Yes.
Which eventually we are assuming will be multiple ships that do the same thing that Voltron does.
Could be a Dark Voltron, yeah.
Indeed. And then in season 3 we only see one of the ships. However, spoiler alert, we get 2 ships in this one.
Yep.
That don't do a whole lot.
No, they're just kind of really fast and really durable.
Yep, hanging out.
They're kind of like how the Lions are when they're not, Voltron.
Yeah.
They're just kind of really powerful ships, basically. But the Voltron Lions just happen to be shaped like lions as opposed to Lotors, which are actually shaped like ships.
Yes, that is true.
Although his main one looks rather much like, some people have talked about how it looks rather like a pair of arms, basically.
Yeah, they do. It definitely does look like arms, but I don't know.
The other ship is unclear. It just looks like a ship. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
So, I don't know. Let's do overall feeling. How do you overall feel about this season?
I was not as impressed.
I concur
with this season as I was with previous seasons.
Super duper concur.
Some of the things I felt like, in a nutshell, I felt like a lot of the stuff they were doing early in the season was kind of backtracking on stuff they did last season.
Yes.
And I
feel like that was this entire season.
The whole season? Yeah. I mean, I'll agree with you on that. Because my thing was, like, I was going to say the beginning of the season was them backtracking on the previous season, and the rest of the season was just filler, basically.
Very, very nigh unto.
Yeah.
So,
like, we got 1 out of the 6 episodes was filler.
Yeah,
like,
let's get into
completely filler.
Let's get into what it is. So, episode 1, Keith steps down as leader of the team in order to hang out with the Blade of Marmora. And
what do you think about that?
Shiro takes back the lead of the team. I hated it. I thought it was so dumb. I'm all fine and good with Keith learning more about who he is and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But he was the leader of the team. He was the leader of Voltron.
Yeah.
And we took a whole season to get him there.
Yeah.
And to have him be this leader. And he was going to grow. He was going to become better.
Yeah.
He was going to become a good leader. And when Shiro was the director of the team, the man in the chair, and I loved that. I thought he did such a cool place for him.
Yes.
And then they were just like, nah, never mind. We don't need him to get any better. Nah. Yeah. They just backpedaled on that. Hardcore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Keith didn't grow at all.
No.
All he did was run away from
He ran away from being a leader,
confrontation. Yeah. It was so stupid.
Yeah. I was thinking it might have been, like, I was hoping that with this season, I was hoping that it was going to be kind of like how it was with Young Justice, where Robin was leading the team briefly before he realized that Aquaman was a better leader, or Aqualad was a better leader, and then later on did take up the mantle of being leader once he was. So I thought by the end of the season he was going to come back, but that didn't happen.
We got no arc for Keith.
Yeah.
The first episode was Keith being like, I don't want to progress as a person.
Yeah.
I just want to discover this mysterious past I might have.
Yeah. And also, we really didn't get into that.
No.
And also,
there was no payoff for him actually going to the Blade of Marmora.
And my big thing was, I had mixed feelings about
2 episodes of the whole thing.
Up front, in that I liked that Shiro came back to the team, but I didn't like that he came because Keith
the
left.
circumstance was dumb.
That was stupid. But like, it didn't
feel earned.
Yeah, I also didn't really think that they needed to go back to like the status quo of the original 5.
They didn't.
Like, because like they'd have to kick out Princess Allura, and I didn't like. I like Princess Allura being on the team. I think that's a really neat aspect of it. But yeah, no, I thought Shiro was better in the chair for sure.
It was super weird. I don't understand why you would take, because season 3 was this season where everything changed.
Yeah,
and we were just like, all right, well, let's strap in. We're gonna deal with these changes.
Yeah, it's a new season,
and
new year.
This
new us.
season just seems like they just did that again. They just changed it again, and some of it they went back on changes they previously made. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was episode 1 was Keith leaving. Episode 2 was we got Matt.
Yes.
Paige left off on her own, and the whole episode was her finding Matt, and then them having a cool fight with a cool bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I like Matt. I'm fine with him being added to the team. I think he's good.
I think he's good. I like that he's...
So he did try to interrupt my ship, and I'm not about that.
Interrupt your ship?
I ship Shiro and Homegirl.
Oh, Allura?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's an interesting ship. They're I think they're good, but they of any of the ships, Allura is not a character I've really shipped with anybody because she doesn't show interest in any of them. So that's
she's also 10,000 years older than all of them.
That's true, but Aang was hundreds of years older than everybody in Avatar,
true.
So
well, at least 100 years old.
At least 100 years older, yes. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I really like Matt. I like that he's smart. I like that he isn't like he's smart in a way that isn't like I guess superfluous. Like he's not like he's kind of like more Pidge and he's kind of like more Hunk, but he's also not as like combat trained as they are. Like he's his own thing kind of. And I like that. I did feel that what they did in that one episode they could have done in like 2 or 3. Like it could have been a little more like it felt more like Pidge was like, I've been searching them for years and then today I got it. And
I also feel like, so I think something in this season that I feel like what they did was they gave every episode was about a character, and they tried to give them all a little arc, and I feel like each of the characters individually suffered because of that. Yeah, I feel like it would have been cooler to have this play out over all 6 of these episodes. You have all 6 episodes, why not use all of them towards a big thing, rather than giving us 5, 6 little episodes, each doing a different story, and I didn't like that. I thought that was dumb. Yeah. Anywho, we'll cover more of that as we go.
Yep.
We've got... Oh, goodness. What happened on episode 3? Jesus.
It's a good question.
However, no, there was, episode 2 was full of some heart.
Yeah, no, I did. No, I'm not saying that episode 2 wasn't good.
Toy Story 3 flashbacks.
Yeah, no.
You're going to do this? You're going to do this to me?
I thought... I was really sad when I thought Pidge's brother was actually dead. Although I did feel that it was kind of a cop-out. So that's the thing. That's one of the reasons I think that it could have been better in multiple episodes. Netflix. You're looking for Netflix.
I'm looking for Voltron.
Oh, I see. I just felt it could have been better because of the fact that when she found the grave from her brother, I thought that would have been the end of the episode, and then next episode she could have been like, you could have been crying and then being like, oh no, it's a code, and then discover. But I don't know, having it all wrapped up in one episode, I was like, I got like 30 seconds to grieve. Like I had 30 seconds where I was about to tear up, and then oh wait, never mind, he's alive, and I was like, okay, well. But it was it was fine. It was a fine episode. It was just, I don't know, I'm being critical.
So side note, we just opened up Netflix and it just reminded me, so Tiger and Bunny's on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of it yet?
I haven't on Netflix yet.
So they removed all of the product placement that's in it.
What?
Yeah, it's all gone.
Wow. How does it work?
It doesn't. It's strange, right?
Because
that's a large part of it.
That's a big part of it. But yeah, no, that's
all
the whole
of them,
point of it.
They're all just... All the suits are just clean. They don't look like NASCAR drivers anymore.
That's weird.
It's very strange, but it's so that Netflix can avoid having to pay any kind of royalties or anything.
I mean, okay, I see them. Yeah.
So I'm still gonna have to buy it.
It makes sense, I guess. Mm-hmm. Why is this on your list?
I just saw it and I was like, I'll put it there. I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's a Jaden Smith's vanity project.
Oh, cool.
He's the lead in that. He's the pink-haired dude
funny.
in that.
What am I doing?
It's basically what Jaden Smith thinks anime is. We're talking about Neo Yokio here. It's awful.
I just saw it and I was like, all right, maybe. Okay, now we can read stuff. All right. Episode 3. No, this is the first season. Episode 3, Black Site. So Black Site is an internal struggle for power erupts within the Galra. Paige returns to the castle with some precious cargo. The team gets a cow. Right, so this had moments of filler in it. And I felt were dumb and unnecessary. Like the Earth thing. Like there's a cow and...
They're trying to get the milkshake.
Trying to get the milkshake from the cow, and they don't understand that.
I don't remember how they get the cow.
Why make these characters so dumb? No,
I don't. Because I felt like I missed a whole episode where a cow joined the team.
Because that doesn't matter because it shouldn't be in here.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, this episode is fairly cool. I think this is when.
This is when Lotor's fighting,
This is when Homeboy Emperor Zarkon wakes up.
Yeah.
And Lotor comes to him, and Zarkon's like, "We don't need you anymore. Stop doing whatever it is you're doing." And Hagar is like suspicious of Lotor. But Emperor Zarkon's just like, "That's whatever. Don't matter."
We're also seeing Hagar having somewhat of a struggle with the fact that she knows she's
realized that she's Altean and that she was that. Because she's apparently up till now had no recollection of the fact that she was married to Zarkon, and that she was Altean.
Is she Onerva? I forget.
Yes.
Okay, that's her. Okay.
Yes, that is her.
Did Lotor say that Onerva was Onerva? I can't pronounce her name. Was his mother in this show? Because I feel like he did mention her name, but I don't remember what the context was.
I don't remember if he did.
Because I'm wondering, does he not know that Hagar is his mom?
So there's a lot of things we don't know that are very interesting, and that make Lotor and Zarkon and Onerva still interesting. Or Hagar still interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm just losing interest in some of the main team.
I know.
Like, why is this happening? Lotor is the only one that seems to have an arc that goes throughout multiple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't like that arc, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is a change in the B plot, basically. Yeah,
and so this is the episode I think probably when Hagar like hexes his little teammate, the one that doesn't see things.
Yeah.
Okay,
which I mean, I know the character didn't talk, but it felt weird for Lotor to just be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna kill this girl."
It felt super weird. That's something I want to talk about when I get there. But yeah, I mean, episode 3 was just basically Paige bringing back Matt. We start to see the struggle with Lotor and Zarkon. And then there's this goofy side plot with a cow.
Yeah. And
a good thing about this series that's been good throughout the make of it is I think you can see a lot of the animation getting better.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but like when Lance is trying to show them how to do the cow, how to make the cow work.
How to milk the cow, yeah.
Indeed. He has they do this really intense animation of him moving.
Yeah.
And like prepping and going for it. And I'm like, that's really awesome animation. Why is it being wasted here?
Yeah.
On this cow?
Yeah, it was like almost like a One Punch Man type thing.
Right. It was so cool looking. And like they do it a few more times and I'm like, yes, good. Give me some more key frames. It's great. But it's just like,
yeah. Sakugo moments
from
milking a cow.
Better.
Yeah.
On to episode 4, aka
the best episode
the crab. This episode should not be here.
It shouldn't.
This is the dumbest thing.
It wouldn't have been a bad episode if it was in like a 14, 15, 18 episode season.
Exactly. It wouldn't have been bad if it was maybe in the middle of a season that's been really intense and we needed a break.
Yeah.
But it's you only have 6 episodes.
Yeah, you had 6 episodes.
Give us something. Why waste why use 1/6 of this season to do this? For those of you that don't know what it is or haven't seen it, you probably have seen it and I skipped through some of it. Once I realized what was happening, I would just like skip 2 to 3 minutes ahead and I got through this as fast as I could.
Jenny 2 minutes into the episode when she was watching it, my little sister, she saw 2 minutes of it and she turns to me and she goes, "Is this a filler episode?" And I was like, "Yeah,
it's a filler that we don't like." Anime does filler because it's trying to catch up with stuff.
Yeah.
This has nothing to catch up with.
It
Why
makes
do
no
we have
sense.
this? I hate this.
It felt like it was trying to kind of pander to an audience, but I don't know who it was for.
That's what I feel like a lot of this
I don't know who it was
It's
for.
just like it's trying to bring in a lot of the zany goofiness and going back to a status quo of the team, being like, right, you like this stuff, right? Like trying to settle into some kind of thing. I'm like, no, tell a story, give us some character backgrounds, give us some arcs. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
This episode is horrible and should be removed.
Yeah.
It's so bad. So for those of you that don't know what it is, it's called the Voltron Show. And ever since...
which now that you say it out loud like that feels rather meta.
Yeah. Ever since season 3, they've been going around and doing these sort of show of arms things with Voltron, doing little
different
parades,
planets and stuff,
going to different planets, trying to get the rebels or the enslaved people by the Galra to rally around Voltron and to join the coalition and to fight against Zarkon. And they're doing that by putting on these little parades or shows and things like that. Karan decides that they need to up their game and start doing more of it, and he's pushing and pushing and pushing, and he gets this little dumb alien earworm that sinks into his head and sucks on his brain and makes him just absolutely bonkers about this show, and he starts doing crazy things to get the show to look good, and just driving, it's pointless. This episode is pointless.
Yeah.
Nothing, they don't get any closer to doing anything. Like, the only thing that kind of makes any sense is the fact that because of all their extra work with this, more people join the coalition.
Yes.
Which they could have summed up in that sentence.
Yes.
That I just said. And they could have had an episode, they're like, look, we've been doing great, and tons of people have joined us, they've seen what we do, they've watched the Voltron show things, and now we're all good, and we've got plenty of people. Done.
Yep.
End of statement about that. But no, we had a whole episode, and I feel like they were trying to give Karan an episode.
Yes.
And I did not think that was absolutely necessary at all.
No.
Because he's background, he's comedic relief, he works best when there's other stuff going on that's not him, and he can react to it.
Something that when you mentioned earlier that like everybody kind of got an episode in this, and this episode made me just wish Hunk had an episode.
Right.
Because Hunk is a main member of the Voltron team, and the series has always painted him as just the funny one, and
just the fat guy,
just the guy who likes to eat. And I'm just like, what? Can't we? Like I mean, we know less about him and Lance at the same. But at least Lance had like an interesting conflict with Keith, and he actually had some growth when he had to like basically turn, like in season 3 we got to see Lance like be like, okay, even though I don't like you, I understand that the Red Lion chose you or whatever, or the Black Lion chose you. I mean, and Keith became the new leader of Voltron, and he stepped down and let Keith do that. And, and he fit in the role that he felt he needed to fit, and he's done a lot for the team now. And Hunk, I feel, has done a lot for the team too, but, like, we don't explore that. We don't ever look into that.
It's dumb. Again, I feel like it's a step back in a lot of ways.
And even then, like I mentioned, Matt not being very superfluous to the team, it feels like they've been making Hunk more and more superfluous to the team. Like,
yes.
Like, if anybody was going to get kicked off the team to put Keith back on, instead of Princess Allura, it'd be Hunk. Yeah. And I hate that, because I actually really like Hunk.
Yeah. He is helpful in a lot of ways. Like, he is technical as well as Pidge. But it's just, again, that just makes me more upset about this episode. Mm-hmm. If you want to do something with Karan, I don't mind you doing something with Karan. But have it follow suit with what he's been doing previously.
Yeah.
Have it be a background thing. Have it happen over a few episodes. Have him get some kind of earwig earlier on in this season, and that maybe the audience is privy to, but no one else. And we can slowly watch him change, and have it be more sinister. Yeah. Have him be maybe turning towards a Galra, or doing things, letting information slip, or different things like that. Yeah. Like, give us something
like
more
this could have been something that led into the rest of the season.
Right. Because, I mean, Karan is funny. He's great, but he's fiercely loyal to Allura and to their kingdom or race or whatever it is.
The Alteans.
The Alteans, and to fighting against Emperor Zarkon, and he would be a perfect, I think, target to turn bad. Yes. For at least a time, because no one would suspect it. Yeah, exactly. He would be great for that. But instead we got this dumb episode, which will now make anything else they try to do with him in a similar fashion be just not as effective, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, it sort of eliminates your opportunity to do that with him.
Yeah, because people would be like, oh, remember that time Korean was being crazy? It's just like that.
It's so
and
dumb.
they'll, like, figure it out, yeah.
Why waste that potential on this episode? I feel like they just handed each of these episodes to a different writer or team.
Yeah.
And they're like, just have fun. And I'm just like, that doesn't work at all.
You can't tell a story that way.
No, it's so dumb.
Yeah. No, it did feel like that. It really did. They did a lot of... So another thing I felt was interesting when I mentioned the pandering to the audience, it felt like kind of what Tumblr thinks of Voltron, or what they think Tumblr thinks Voltron is. Like, the only thing we didn't get in this show that I thought they were going to touch on was shipping. They didn't ship any characters together for the Voltron show, quote unquote, for the stage show Koran was doing.
Yeah.
But like everyone was like playing their roles, and they were playing these like one dimensional characters, which people have been joking about for a long time, that these characters are one dimensional.
Allura was playing Keith.
Yes,
which was super stupid.
It was very.
Why
dumb.
not just tell the world that Allura's
that she's the
paladin?
The paladin, yeah.
Like,
why? That felt weak. Yeah, it felt like
that's really stupid.
It felt like a way they could kick Allura off the team without kicking her off the team, basically. Like, it just felt very weird.
David did air quotes around kick Allura off the team.
Okay, yeah.
So, all your listeners know.
So you guys know, yeah. But it's just...
Let's talk about Lotor.
Okay.
I hate everything that happened with him in this season.
Okay.
It's super dumb. Let's start with Hagar. So, like, he leaves Zarkon's presence.
Yes.
And when he turns around, because Zarkon's like, I banish you, I don't want to see you.
Yeah, when Zarkon wakes up, he banishes Lotor.
Stop doing any
He's
of
like,
this
you haven't been leaving
nonsense.
this kingdom very well.
Also, Zarkon wakes up with, like, no real fanfare or leading up to as to why he would have woken up now. It just kind of happens.
So, what I think...
She entered his brain. So Hagar entered his brain in the last season, which I guess could have triggered him waking up.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what triggered her memories about who she was.
Sure.
So that could have been the cause. That's fine.
Something I think is interesting, though, is when they brought him back, they put him
in an Iron Man
They put him
suit.
in well, you say Iron Man.
It looks like a stasis suit.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like, more like a Darth
almost,
Vader type thing.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm wondering...
Or Samus.
I'm wondering if, two things, something I got from this season, it sounded like, and I don't know if this is true, I tried to look on IMDb and I didn't have it updated quite yet, it sounded like they changed the voice actor for Zarkon, but I wasn't certain on that. But even if they didn't, he does sound different in the suit.
Right. He does sound
and
more like Darth Vader.
I was also thinking maybe that, like, the reason they did it that way is to shroud it in mystery a little bit, in the sense that I'm thinking maybe Zarkon isn't back, and maybe this is more like a
stand-in?
No, like Gargantua and the Verdois planet type situation.
Oh,
where they put him in a suit, and the suit is just like his mind in a suit, basically.
Yeah,
piloting a dead Zarkon
capable
body.
Of doing here, yeah. That may be what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Could be. Nice call. We'll see in season 5.
We'll see.
Or we won't.
I mean, yeah, probably not. Like, they probably won't do that, but you know. But that was something I had assumed. Like, I was reading more into it than I felt they probably thought about it, because it did feel like looking back on it, like you said, it was just, oh, Zarkon's awake now.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Anyways, Lotor has been refining the comet that he has.
Yes.
Sort of keeping it secret from the rest of the Galra Empire and building up his... Yes?
I'm remembering now his plot, because I'm just like, you were saying you didn't like anything that happened to Lotor, and I was just like, what happened to Lotor? And now I'm thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, it was a little lame.
It was the dumbest thing, because he was so cool. He was so much cooler than Zarkon.
Oh gosh, yes.
He was
much more of a threat.
Yes, he was much more threatening. I mean, Zarkon's threatening physically.
Zarkon's pretty threatening
because he could just beat the crap out of a lion by himself, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But Lotor was threatening because he's a genius, because he's tactical, because he actually does have people that care about him, seemingly, and that he keeps on his side because he's intelligent, and he treats them well because he knows that they will protect him and help him. And then they disregard all of those character details about him in this.
Yes.
I feel like someone else picked him up. I need to look in to see who really... Anyway, so he leaves Zarkon, right? He turns around. Zarkon's like, I don't want to see you anymore. Lotor turns around, walks out, and he gets a little smile on his face. Because, again, he didn't really care about
leading
Empire.
the Galra Empire.
He wanted his comet. That's
Yes.
what he wanted, and he wanted to build his Voltron suit. That's all he wanted to do.
That we're assuming is what's
And
happening. Yes.
now that Zarkon doesn't care about him again, he's like, I can just go do that. I've got my comet now. It's all good. I'm fine.
Yep.
I just used the resources of the Galra Empire to get my comet, which I did.
Yep.
Now I'm just gonna go continue my work. Hagar's suspicious of him.
Yep.
She enchants. I wish I could remember her name.
I know.
The one that doesn't see things and has a cat.
Yep.
The lizard lady.
One of his space babes.
Yep. And so Hagar basically can spy on him whenever she wants to by looking through the eyes of this cat.
Yes.
And she does that, and eventually the Galra Empire chase after Lotor because they're like,
they're trying to find him. Basically,
right.
they
Well, Hagar sees that he has this comet.
Yes.
And what he's doing with it. And then she tells Zarkon, and Zarkon gets pissed.
Yeah.
And tries to hunt him down. And he's like, how did this happen? And then he realizes that Hagar must have been using this other chick to spy on him. And he immediately kills his team member.
Yes.
One of his high-ranking officials just offs her.
Yeah.
In front of the other 3 officers.
Yeah.
Space babes that are on his team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is way hardcore and really...
Yeah.
It just seems out of character because he doesn't seem to act that rash.
He's not that violent of a... Like, he is a violent person, but he's not
violent,
that
but
quick
it
to
means,
violence.
like,
He's more to think his way out of...
Yes, and I feel like he
things.
would have just found some way to
counteract the magic or something.
I feel like that would have been cooler to do, or had something up his sleeve to change it.
Yeah, had some sort of Batman-like kryptonite in his pocket that stops
Yes.
Hagar's magic or something.
Or at the very least, leave her.
Yeah.
Don't take her with you.
Yeah.
But he just
kills
murdered her.
His commander,
which
yeah.
put the seeds of doubt in the heads of the other 3 members of his team.
Yep.
Then we find that he's trying to reopen the rift that was opened in his home world when Zarkon and Anerva, is that her name?
Yes.
Were originally experimenting with this comet.
Yeah,
stuff.
when they destroyed the planet
Yes.
that Zarkon is
Open the
blaming
rift.
the
Yes.
King Altea from. He blames to the king for the destruction of his planet, even though he doesn't remember that he was the one that destroyed it. Basically,
Yeah,
it's his experiments that led to the destruction.
So, and he tries
That's what
to
we learned in
reopen
season
this
3.
rift and goes through it,
Yes.
and nothing happens.
Yep.
And so we see that his plan didn't work. And we're all like, why?
So I misread that scene. I really did. Was the fact that he didn't go through a portal? Is that what happened, or the portal didn't take him anywhere?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
He just showed up on the other side of the portal and nothing had happened.
Because what I had read into that was that he had actually gone into the portal, and it was like when the Voltron did it before, where it was like it led him to like kind of a mirror world where it looks like the original
Right.
world, but it's different.
And that's what I thought originally.
Yeah.
But then, like, everyone's reactions, and then again, after that, you see him again, he's just standing on an asteroid looking out into space being sad.
I see.
And
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it didn't work. That's what it
I
was.
see.
That's
okay.
so that
because when I read into it, I was just like, why didn't he do anything? Like it just,
that caused
because it didn't work, is what it was.
that caused the flower of the seed of doubt in all 3 of them to just immediately burst, and they were
Yeah.
like, this guy's not doing anything.
Yeah, we need to report it.
And so the space babes are like, we'll capture him, we'll take him back to Zarkon, and we'll be like, hey, look, Zarkon, here's your boy.
Yeah.
Please forgive us.
Yeah,
Don't
that
kill
was their
us.
plan.
Which
yeah.
I don't think that would work anyway. I think Zarkon would just murder all of them.
Yeah, because Zarkon would do that.
Yeah,
Zarkon is that
yes,
violent.
He would just kill them all.
He is that
Like,
fresh.
I don't. That's just yes. But like if Lotor hadn't killed Homegirl, he would just thought his way out of it, and if he hadn't been so arrogant and so focused on this one thing that he was doing, and he hadn't put all his eggs in one basket, so to speak, he wouldn't have lost his team. And I hate that his team is gone because that was so cool about him. That was what was cool about Lotor, was that he could command respect and loyalty, which Zarkon could not. He was just scary, so no one wanted to oppose him.
Yes,
that's
it. Yeah, and that was Lotor's big mission last season, was to not lead the Galra by fear, but to lead them through respect and those kinds of things.
They just pissed on that.
Yeah.
And then his team's now separate. The 3 remaining space babes have their own ship because Lotor, in a very cool way, just
bounced.
Yes, he was like, "No, I'm not having that."
Right.
Like, so they knock him out. Right? They knock him out. They put him in handcuffs. They put him in this ship.
Yep.
And when he wakes up, they're like, "We're taking you back to Zarkon." He's like, nope.
Yeah,
he just
like
breaks
dislocates
his shoulders,
shoulder,
flips his arms over him, puts them back into place, hits eject. The space babe shoots out of the thing, and he's just like, "I'm gone, peace," and
he flies off, and they have to like pick her up. Basically,
he's so cool.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's cool.
He is very cool. I don't know why they did this.
I want him to get back with his mates somehow.
Yeah.
I want them to go back to.
I want them to be back to being a team.
I want them all to be a team. I want them to go to Voltron.
To Voltron. That's what I
thought was going to happen. Was that
I thought
the three of them were
going
to go to Voltron?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And hang with them because again, one of them worked with Keith at some point.
Yes,
and it's probably the more human-looking chick, is what I would assume. The one who actually shot.
I had thought it was the one with the cat, but she didn't have the cat.
Because she wouldn't be able to do anything.
No,
with
it was. It probably was the blue one, blue chick, blue-haired chick.
The one who actually shot.
I can't remember their names. They all have really alien names.
Yeah, and she said the name of the
Arkos?
chick with the cat as an in name.
Like
Niarti or something like that.
No, I really when he left. So this is the thing: when Lotor bailed and the three girls were behind, they were like, they had this moment where they were like, well, there's one other way we can get around this, and I thought their resolution was they were going to go help Voltron because they realized that Zarkon was the enemy. So in the final episode, when Lotor shows up to help Voltron,
right, Lotor's just looking for Hagar, and when he finds Hagar, he's like, I'm gonna freaking murder this bee, and that's why he shows up, because he finds her ship, and he just lasers the crap out of it, just like poof. It was so cool because Keith was about to die, just running into the shield for no reason.
Which, if he had died, I would have been like, you know what, good riddance. Like,
that would have been a fine way.
Useless character.
No, but he just Lotor just keeps showing up and being cool.
Yeah.
And so like that episode is called A New Defender, which I feel like is a misnomer because Lotor doesn't even show up until the last 30 seconds of this show.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like the reunion in episode 2, which Matt doesn't show up until the last like couple minutes. So, like the episode names all spoil the episode. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But no, so
like the Voltron show. My goodness.
Yeah.
Tell me there's going to be a show.
Gosh. Right.
But just write filler underneath it.
Yeah. So we didn't mention, but 5 and 6 is basically the episodes. 5 and 6 is when the Voltron coalition comes together and they lead a battle against.
Right. So what they're doing is they're taking the last remaining stronghold that the Galra have in this particular system.
Yeah, this particular line of planets.
Taking that, and they're taking over 2 big cannons, like Death Star-like cannons that the Galra have set up, pointing into that system.
Yes.
And they do that, and then Hagar's like, good. Because Hagar has set a bomb in one of the planets, turned one of the planets into a bomb.
The planet that they're taking.
Planet that they take to blow up everything in that system.
Yes.
So it's effectively wipe out the entire rebellion there.
Yeah.
Because she's intelligent.
Yes.
And I just this makes me sad that Lotor couldn't have been smarter in this thing. It feels like Hagar just got the better of everyone in this.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, we've put I feel like we've gotten rid of this good villain in Lotor. We put Zarkon back on the throne, who's just a mad, crazy, just angry man.
He's a Power Ranger villain.
Yes.
He's just, I gotta get those
He's just bad for being bad sake. And even Lotor is somewhat bad for being bad sake because we don't know a whole lot about why he is doing
that's the thing. When Lotor first arrived on the scene, when he mentioned talking about leading the Galra Empire through respect, I thought he was gonna be like, well, we're gonna make good with the Alteans. Basically, he was gonna be like, okay, my father's crazy. He obviously destroyed our planet. Blah blah blah. Those kinds of things. But then it's just like he turns on it and being like, and then we'll destroy anybody who doesn't respect us, basically. And that was so. I was just like, okay, so he does have a violent bone in his body, and that was like. So I realized he was still gonna be a bad guy. He was just gonna be more of a lawful evil bad guy as opposed to a chaotic evil bad guy.
Yes, which is definitely Zarkon.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, but those final episodes are cool. I guess
they're fine. I thought they were okay. The
right.
Blitz is neat, and so is the new Defender when Hagar stops him. I did really think I was really worried for the Paladins for a bit there with the planet being explained. Like I knew they weren't going to die on that planet, but I thought like they weren't going to come out unscathed. Like when Keith was going to sacrifice himself, I was like, okay, well, we're going to lose Keith.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess it comes to this ?
Yeah. It's just so many.
But they all came out unscathed, and I was fine with that. But
And like
I did not expect Lotor to come save them. I expected the girls to come back and save them. But it did make sense that that Lotor come to stop Hagar as opposed to save the Voltron paladins.
So they had to stop Hagar because she was the one supplying the battery essentially for the bomb. And again, when Voltron got out of that, it just seemed to me like Voltron got out of it via friendship power, and like
which I'm okay with because that is Voltron. That is in of essence Voltron. But it was neat that didn't solve the problem. It just kept Voltron from dying.
Right.
Basically.
It just allowed them to get the word out.
It got out, and they got out, and then they were like, "Well, now we got to save the world." But it didn't save anybody.
But also, like, I just don't feel like they won by having to sacrifice anything or go through anything difficult. I mean, obviously that was difficult for them. Gotcha.
Sure.
Yeah. But like, in the first season, when after that final battle with Zarkon, all the lines are separated. Voltron separated. They all go into this big wormhole, and they're all shot to different sides of the galaxy. And the castle is lost in a time loop where Karan.
That was kind of neat. Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Season 2, at the end of it, they win. Homeboy gets his Bayard. Shiro gets his Bayard from Zarkon, and
has
blasts
he used
Zarkon.
that since then?
Yeah, he used it that time. He put his Bayard in, and he got the big old flame sword.
That's right.
Struck out Zarkon's big mech. And then
he disappeared.
At the end of that, he disappeared. Shiro disappeared.
And he didn't have his Bayard when he came back.
I think he did. No, I think his Bayard was still in the thing because I think Keith had the Bayard whenever Keith took over.
I thought everybody was still holding their Bayards. No, that's right because Lura has Keith's Bayard now. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
So, anyways, and in this,
interesting.
Nothing intense really happened with their Voltron team.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the dynamic had already been changed. This is the third Voltron team we have now.
Yes.
And the worst, in my opinion.
For me, it was neat that it did feel like with this they did kind of strike up a lasting victory with them taking this like basically a third of the Galra Empire's territory. I did think that was interesting.
Cool. We are seeing progress in the...
Which I thought was neat, because it's like, it did feel like, while in the past it felt like... So, we understand there's a war going on. In the past 3 seasons there is a war going on, but it felt like in the past few seasons that the war, quote-unquote, was just Voltron fighting Zarkon.
That's really because that's all it was.
Yeah.
Voltron was the only thing fighting an actual war.
Yeah.
The Galra Empire wasn't fighting a war, they were just taking over people and making sure a little bit of insurgents didn't happen. Because none of the insurgents up until before Voltron were united. That's the thing that Voltron's actually doing, is getting people who do want to fight to work together, which had not been happening prior to now.
Yeah, which is good.
And giving them a good weapon, aka Voltron. Right?
Yeah.
So, which is fun.
But yeah, so it did feel like that. It did feel more like a war with this situation, and it did feel like there was a good... transition in the war, in that they did feel like they basically made a foothold for the coalition, basically. That it looks like, but as opposed to just being Voltron versus the entire Galra Empire, it's now the coalition versus the... All right, we have a good on war happening, which is good.
Right.
I did like in the Blitz episode that one of the flight teams was basically Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like they had a fox and they had a frog.
Yep.
And the frog died because, of course, everybody hates Slippy, which I disagree with. I like Slippy. But then we didn't have a Falco.
You're welcome to be wrong.
We didn't have a Falco. We didn't have a rabbit.
Those people were cool. I want to hear more about that team. That team was really cool.
That was a cool team. But no, somebody brought up one of my siblings brought up when we were watching it. What the heck is Earth doing in all this time?
Exactly. That's a problem I have right now, and I've had it for a while.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have another season and it hasn't been mentioned just grinds my gears.
Is Earth in this galaxy? Like, are they even there? Like,
but not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
We have a team of teenagers with parents on Earth.
Yes.
And we just haven't mentioned anything about them being away for what has to be months, if not a year or two at this point.
Yes.
they're just missing.
They're just gone. Yeah, they just went
gone.
MIA. Some of them were in the like space military. It felt like Lance,
right?
Pidge,
they
and
all
Keith,
were.
Hunk. Yeah, that's
Keith
right.
had
Keith
played
left.
hooky. Yeah. So like,
I thought he had actually bailed. Like I thought he actually kicked
that's
out.
true.
Okay.
So they could be presumed dead because they were seen on the premises when there were a lot of explosions.
Also, why the secrecy when Shiro came back in episode 1 of Voltron? Like, why this? There was like this almost like this like Black Ops like secret police type thing when they captured Shiro.
They'd been declared dead.
Yeah,
and no one knows of aliens yet. We're still in this. Because again, like Pidge's dad and brother were just excited to get ice cores because it might show a little bit of somewhat life beyond our planet. So Earth still has no idea that aliens are bouncing about.
That
so
makes sense.
my assumption is that the MIB,
yeah,
in that Earth,
yeah,
we're just trying to keep it quiet.
Okay. I thought there was more to it than that. Like I thought there was some sort of interesting. I thought the Earth's government had some sort of plot in that we were going to touch on later.
That's another problem I have is that there are still plenty of mysteries we haven't solved.
Yeah.
And this season took a couple things and just wrapped them up, tied them up in a little bow, like Matt showing up.
Yep.
So I'm like, here, have this, boop.
Yep.
And then it took other things like figuring out more about Keith and just put them on the back burner.
Yeah.
Stepped back. So like, Keith, you're not going to be a leader. You're not going to learn and grow and become a better person. Nor are we going to do anything about where you come from or why we're talking with the Galra. You're just going to hang out with the Galra and be a rebel force and barely get mentioned and show up in 2 episodes max of this entire series or entire season.
Yes.
Then we've got
Shiro.
We still don't know why was Shiro teleported out of the Black Lion at the end of season 2. Why was he? Where did he show up again? Why was he being experimented on?
What his ties
was
with the Galra?
Was there actually
what
a
exactly
clone of him? Or was it just trauma and a flashback, which is what I think it was?
Yeah,
why does he have a robot arm? Why is he connected to Zarkon?
Yeah.
Is he a Horcrux?
What's
going
Horcrux?
on?
Yes.
We haven't. There's all this we could explore with him, and we got none of that.
Yeah, we get
and then,
nothing.
Then there's
not even a
Lotor.
hint of it. Like we didn't even mention it. Not even looking at it.
Nothing. And then we've got Lotor, who we still don't know a whole lot about. We know what he's trying to do. We don't know why he's trying to do it. We don't know if he's as old as Zarkon and Hagar, which he would have to be.
Yeah,
I don't feel like they were banging 20 years ago. It would have been 10,000 years ago.
Yeah,
which I think they do mention his age in this, or somewhat. I think they hint at it, that the fact that he is as old as they are, or close to it, that he's an older guy, or he's been around for a while, and that he's more or less immortal. Which tells me that he also must be feeding off of quintessence. He must be a quintessence being. Because that's the reason that Hagar and Zarkon have lived for so long.
Yeah. Which wouldn't that
that's what he wants. That's what he declares he wants. Whenever he's guiding his ship into the portal, he's like, we're going to get to the other side. Well, he didn't even want to get to the other side. He wanted to get to like the middle between dimensions so that he could just harness the power of all the quintessence there that's between dimensions. That's what he wanted to do. Just have infinite quintessence power. And we don't exactly know why, but we assume that he wants to build a weapon of some sorts. I don't know. Take over the galaxy, kill his dad, whatever it might be. Whatever. We don't know a whole lot. We don't know a whole lot about his team either, which I would like to know about.
Yeah.
Why was Homegirl stuck in that thing where they got the Teledove stuff from?
Why was one of his crew with that in that situation? How'd she get there? Why doesn't she mention Keith? Or, why doesn't he mention that he met her in the thing? Like, he recognized her when he saw her, but they just kind of like showed that he recognized her, but then never mentioned it.
Glanced over it, yeah. I mean...
No, it's very weird.
And then, what about Hunk and Lance?
Yeah.
Because up to this point, they've been just the guys on the team. Yeah, Lance has seen some growth. I think Hunk has also seen some growth. Yeah. But we haven't actually delved into it.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are. We don't know if their parents are worried about them. Again, I just assume that their parents, all these kids' parents who are still on Earth, must presume them dead.
Yes.
They must have died in some accident right outside of the military base. Because there were a lot of explosions there, and they were seen there, and then they were never seen again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, what's going on Earth? Because someone had to have noticed the Galra cruiser that just showed up on Earth, at Earth. The only reason they left Earth was to get the Galra cruiser to chase after them in the first episode.
To leave Earth alone.
And they opened up a portal.
So we know the Galra know about Earth.
Yeah.
Does Earth know about the Galra? Like...
I don't know, David. There's all
really
these things
weird.
they could be talking about that they're not.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very odd. It just...
But instead, we got a whole episode of Karan doing the Voltron show. Gosh.
Yeah.
If I could physically burn that.
Physically burn that, yes. And it sucks because I actually do like Karan as a character.
Me too.
This was just a bad use of him.
It
I
was.
felt.
Because again, he works best like a C-3PO or like an R2-D2. He works best in the background of something else that's going on. He can play off of things.
I like the way he's represented in the intro, where he's like the man in the chair directing the war effort.
That's
like,
really cool.
Like he's an intelligent human being. He is used for comic relief.
Excuse me.
That's
not a
true.
Human.
Oh, I'm
My
so sorry.
gosh.
How racist of me to presume. No, yeah, but he's intelligent and he's he is funny from time to time. Yeah. He's played by a comedian, but like, but
he's got a great stash.
He's also not this one-dimensional character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so weird.
One thing I do like about Lotor possibly partnering with or having a truce with Voltron
right, got this truce.
Is A, what will come of that, but B, I'm wondering what will come with that, with him having one of his ships with him. He's got one of his ships, and I'm wondering what interaction with Voltron will be like.
Yeah, what if we get some mergents?
Yeah, what if we get stuff like that?
Turns into a really cool utility belt.
Yeah, or something. But one thing I think is interesting though as well is it reminds me, especially the way Lotor is, it reminds me very much of Gurren Lagann. And you won't understand this.
No, I won't.
But there's a villain.
I should probably watch the show.
There's a villain in the show. He works for the Spiral King. He's like a demon basically, and he's one of the villains that they fight. And early on, he fights him, and he's like one of their heaviest fighters basically. And then, but basically, at some point during the show, he's basically kind of wooed by the passion these humans have for defending their people and stuff like that. And he ends up basically kind of joining their team and becoming like one of their best soldiers, becoming one of their best leaders, to the point where he's like with them in the final conflict. Like he's got a ship connected to their Gurren, basically fighting with that. And he's like, but he brings this like alternate perspective on, like, he kind of helps them understand why the spiral beings want to do what they do and why they're being awful and stuff like that. He kind of helps them understand that, and he through them understand how humans are and why, and things like that. And he's a very interesting and very cool character, and I'm wondering if they'll do any of that with Lotor, maybe.
I hope so. I hope they do something. I hope he gets the better of Hagar.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he wins in some type of match of minds or whatever. I hope he uses his position with Voltron to further his own causes, and we get to see him doing that. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll turn into a good guy. I don't really necessarily want him to.
He doesn't necessarily need to be.
I think.
But having a truce is an interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to have him. What I see happening is what happened in season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, wherein you had Angry Girl, Zuko's sister.
Yes. I'll remember it one day.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Who was still angry at the end of it and got captured and was still crazy and dumb. She's super crazy.
Yeah, she's very.
But
crazy.
her friends see the light, sort of, and they're like, you know what? This girl's crazy, and y'all are doing something that's actually right, so we're going to partner up with you. I can see that happening with Lotor being the part of the princess chick who he won't ever really. He'll use them for his betterment, but he won't ever come around to their side.
I see.
And his space babes maybe will come around to Voltron's side.
Okay.
That would be fun to see.
That would be pretty neat. I think that's kind of neat.
But I do want Voltron to... I do want Lotor to quote-unquote win in his arc. I want him to beat Hagar and maybe beat Zarkon. Yeah. But I'm sure they'll save Zarkon for Voltron.
Probably.
I'm sure Voltron will be the one to overcome that.
It would be neat to see him partner with Voltron to defeat Zarkon.
Yes.
And then that'd be the end of their truce, basically.
Yes.
And maybe have some sort of, furthering plot with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
that would be cool. Because again, I feel like Lotor is a much better villain than Zarkon.
Definitely.
And they just pissed on Lotor and put Zarkon back on his pedestal. Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is so not cool. This is so boring.
Yeah.
Let me see some stuff with Lotor. But I mean, I feel like they just kind of contrived a lot of things so that they could get Lotor onto the side of Voltron.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somehow not have his posse. So I don't know. So I think like they made some leaps in Lotor's own logic.
Yeah.
So that he could be singled out and alone.
Yeah, they made him seem rash.
So make him
to make his team leave.
To make him have a need to be partnered with Voltron.
They could have used an episode to explore his past with his team. Like, what makes them so loyal to him?
Yeah.
I really want to know that.
They could have done all kinds of stuff with one more episode instead of, the fourth episode. There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder if there's a corner of the internet where I can go complain about that episode. I bet you there is.
I'm sure there's a Reddit you can hit up.
It's just so... It bothers me so much.
We've got our own little corner of the internet now.
Yeah, we do. Gosh, that was annoying.
Yeah, it was rather annoying. So
okay, you have something?
Oh no, you go ahead.
I don't want to seem like I hate Voltron.
No.
Or I hate this series. This season is good. Voltron is good.
Yes.
I feel like they did some things that were uncharacteristic of the series thus far.
Yes.
I.e. backpedaling. I feel like they backpedaled some things, and that wasn't what they were about thus far, because Season 3 was very progressive and changed a lot of things in the story, and things that they didn't seem like they were going to back off on. They were like, okay, well, Shiro is gone, and we have to get over that, and we have to be a team.
That was
like, hey, Shiro's back. Oh, and he's the leader of the team again.
That was...
No, why do that? Why back off of what you have chosen to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just... But anyway, the animation's getting better.
It is.
It was already good, but it's actually improving in a lot of things, and they're putting more drama to some things, and it's really cool. It's really good. Yeah. They're really coming into their own.
The fights are getting intense. Some of the stakes are getting higher in a lot of their conflicts,
I'd say that's true as well.
Which I think is very good.
We're getting an ever expanding crew of characters with speaking parts and lines and things like that, like Matt, and we're getting the rebels that we're sort of learning about.
We even got some returning characters with the guys that turned on them in a previous season, coming back to join the coalition.
Really cool. Yeah,
that was kind of neat.
That was very neat. I was hoping to see the little centipede guy again, but he didn't show up, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, with all the little arms and stuff. I can't remember his name.
He's fun.
The interdimensional guy, or not the... He just, like, all these timelines or whatever.
Yeah, calculates all the different possible outcomes of things.
Yes.
He's cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, but, like, that is fun. That is cool. We're still seeing Voltron do some things. We're past the point where they need to... We're past the point where they need to try and, be a team or like come together and things like that. That struggles that they may have had in the first season or second, where they can just make Voltron now. They don't have that problem.
Which
they can.
We understand. I would understand if they did have troubles because they've had such drastic changes in their team recently.
And I feel like if they had left Keith there, they could still play with that.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
Yeah,
they just put us back on the status quo. Which is just strange.
It is. It is very strange.
But it is cool to see them. Shiro's up in the head of Voltron calling shots and being like, "Hey, Hunk, use your whatever, give us the laser cannon."
Yeah, use your Bayard. I love that they just pull up Hunk's Bayard all the time because it's just like it's the biggest gun. You know what I mean? Like they're just like we need to blow Hunk, all of the things up. I also love in Voltron, and this isn't just in this season, but this is in every season, how often the fights involve just blowing up massive ships, hundreds of thousands of massive ships in just like one blast. And I'm just like, I just love that so often. Cool. Yeah. Or even some of the like some of the more subtle ways of doing it, where what is it? The Black Lion has like a knife basically, and you just see him like knifing a bunch of ships. Yeah. Like, I think that's so neat. Really cool.
There are a bunch of really cool scenes in this. There's a really cool scene. I think it's on the planet that they're taking in the last 2 episodes. From the Galra, where there's this Galra outpost, and there's just like these sentinels out or whatever, just patrolling. They're actual Galra people. They're not robots, and they're just looking around and stuff, and just they see this thing fall from the sky, and it's a Galra ship, and it just crashes right in front of them. It's so cool looking, and then their reaction's just like. And then they realize they're under attack, and like that was really cool.
That was very good. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
A part that I really like, that is cool with Keith.
Yes,
is watching Keith. It's also slightly annoying, but it's still kind of cool in that whenever we do get Keith's episode, the first episode, we see him on the Galra team, or not the Galra team, the Marmura team, the Blade of Marmura team.
Yes.
And there's a lot of really cool things that happen there.
Yes.
We see them get duped, go to a decoy ship, and we see one of their teammates die, just flat out die in front of us.
Yeah. This,
on screen.
They're spies, basically. They're ninjas or assassins.
And he just gets blown up.
Yeah.
And we see Keith sort of struggling out in space. And that was rough. And it's very real.
Yeah.
And hard.
That was very cool.
And difficult. The other thing I don't like about that is it's still Keith kind of being Keith, just on a new team.
Yeah.
Like, again, he hasn't changed. He's still a hothead who thinks he's right all the time, and he's arrogant. He's just on a different team now. Yeah. And I'm like, please have some character growth.
But now he's on a team where some of the characters don't have names, so they get to die.
Yeah. I'm like,
because if he was to do that stuff with the Voltron team, they'd figure out a way, and then whoever would be trapped would go out. Yeah. But because he's on,
maybe that's a plus. Maybe he can see some actual consequences of his idiocy.
I did feel that the conversation he had with Allura after that situation was interesting. I thought that was very neat, and I was wondering how that was going to go. I did not expect it to go with, I'm leaving, and Shiro has to be the leader basically now.
Yeah.
I thought that was lame, because I thought that moment where Allura tried to talk sense into him was going to be the moment where he was like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should stick with my team and protect them. But instead, he was just like, no, this is really important. Yeah. And also, I saw a guy die today, so I'm a little shaken.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we're also good friends of yours, and we're willing to talk to you about that if you want to talk about it. But he's like, no, I want to be cool and edgy, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just so dissatisfied. But I don't want to keep talking about things I hate.
Yeah.
Anyway, I liked that we got to see, we get to see more stakes. We get to see more people actually die. We saw Pidge walk through thousands of graves of people who died in the fight against the Galra.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Oh yeah, it was
the animation in that was really cool and pretty too, as well, and that was a very, very emotional scene.
Yeah.
When she found
very well animated.
The supposed grave of Matt. I also really liked the fight when Matt and her fought against the bounty hunter that was following.
Yeah. Well, something that bothered me a little bit, would not bother me in a sense that like it wasn't a weird thing. It was just more like, for me, I guess, like it wasn't something the show did. It was something I didn't understand. When we saw the grave, we saw the monument, we saw that these people were people that had died in the Galra thing, and that Matt was involved. I was like, I had this question where I was like, how long has Matt been missing again? I can't remember, because it's like you see in that episode that she was like, she wasn't. I mean, she was a kid, but she wasn't that young, and she's still pretty young. She was basically like,
I imagine
the equivalent of like high school or basic training. I imagine
it's been a couple years.
And because it with the monument, it felt like it had been like almost 10 years, but it feels like it's only been like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, that's what I imagine. I imagine when they launched, it probably took them several months to get to where they were going anyway before they got abducted.
Yeah.
So that might have been a year out in space.
Yeah.
She still wasn't old enough, I think, to get into the garrison when he left.
Yeah.
But when they got word of it, she tried to get in, or she thought about getting in, or she planned to get in. Maybe it was another year before she could apply. Mm-hmm. She applied, she didn't get in, she applied again. And now they've been in space. I'm willing to bet they've been in space for at least a year. So I imagine it's probably at least 3 years from the time that Matt left Earth to when she finds him.
I guess that makes sense, because it's just like my concern was I did not expect her to find Matt out and about or dead. I expected her to find Matt like Shiro in the confines of a Galra ship or something.
Right on.
I expected Matt to still be prisoner, as if he had still been abducted.
Right on.
So I'm just like, I'm wondering, because he didn't really go into much about how he got away from the Galra.
My assumption,
how he got separated from his father. Those kinds of things.
Well, this is still stuff we don't fully know about Shiro as well.
Yeah,
it's because Shiro led a lot of people to safety after Shiro sort of helped a lot of people in whatever ship he was in rebel and get out.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt was part of that. Maybe they weren't. Maybe Matt and the dad were sent to other ships. I imagine Matt was probably rescued by a small rebellion.
I'm wondering, did Matt get experimented on?
Maybe. We don't know any of that.
Yeah.
But I imagine he was rescued
Yeah.
I imagine he was then put into the fight, and that he has many months of experience the way the team does.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. And I imagine he and his father were separated before he got picked up by the rebellion. Otherwise, he would probably know where he is.
Mm-hmm. One of the last times we talked about this show, I mentioned that there was a source that said that the show was planned to go to like 75 episodes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I did the math, I think. I don't remember what we're up to now, but I remember, I think it's like 30 something now total. So if we do to go to 75 episodes, we're just about at the halfway mark in this show. And
just shy of it, yeah.
Yeah, just shy of it. And it feels, I don't know, it doesn't quite feel like we're halfway there. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like we're like a third of the way there, or maybe a tenth of the way there. Like, it feels like we haven't gotten much done.
Again, I feel like...
But I feel like they definitely can do plenty of episodes, and they can definitely flesh out this story. But...
Yeah.
And in those times, I imagine they can do Voltron show episodes, but they gotta...
Not when they're putting out 6 episodes a season.
Not 6 episodes a season, yeah.
No, not when they're doing this.
Yeah.
We were told that they were doing this small, short season format so they could get more to us sooner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good, that means you can get more story to us sooner.
But
instead we get this...
Which I'm okay with waiting if it means a larger, more fleshed out season.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a 12 episode season or a 13 episode season. Like, we complain about 13 episode seasons in the Netflix shows because each episode is an hour.
13 hours and just nothing.
And nothing gets done. Yeah. While this show, it's like we know consistently, the episodes are shorter, but also a lot more gets done in each episode.
Yeah. A lot happened in these 6 episodes.
Yeah. That
I felt would have been better if it had been stretched out to 12 episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. Cool animations, cool fight scenes, a couple of cool character developments, but hopefully they'll do better with that in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I like in this season?
I like that we're not really at the place where Voltron is like discovering like new abilities or anything like that. We're not gonna get new, weapons or anything new tricks up their sleeves. Like we're past.
We could. We had that last season.
I know, but we could with. I'm thinking we could later on with if we get any kind of interactions with, the ships from Lotor's people. That might be interesting.
Truly.
But I comparing Voltron a little bit to Power Rangers. They're like. At least the kind of the Neo Saban Power Rangers, the newer seasons that have been coming out, they have this tendency to be like, even up till like the last episode, we're introducing like new Zords and new weapons and stuff like that, new toys for kids basically.
Right.
And I like that Voltron feels like the it's as powerful as it's going to get, and it's really up to the pilots, and that's why I really that's why I really liked the episode where in the Blitz or the New Defender where the Voltron team basically got out of the situation using their strength, I guess, their passion. Because we understand that I was going to say Zords, but the Lions are kind of powered or connected by their bond with their paladins and stuff like that. So it was neat to see that the Voltron is the greatest weapon basically, and they just need to pilot it better basically. Yeah.
That's another thing we could learn more about is Voltron itself.
Yeah, we could.
Anyway, so one thing this does is it does make me, I don't know, anxious to learn more. So I'm going to watch more of the show. So I guess good on them for doing that.
Right.
But I would have done that even if the show was. I'm not going to stop watching it if your characters develop. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Like you can answer a few questions while also not answering all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I expected to happen with this season. Was like you said, like they did wrap up a few things in a little bows, but they could have wrapped up a few more things, or they could have not wrapped them up, but put us some progress on it. Like it would have been nice if Pidge had just found, like I mentioned, just found the thing, the place where her brother was, and even maybe discovered, hey, he's still alive. These are coordinates or whatever. These are coordinates, and those coordinates didn't exactly take him directly to where he was, so much as they took him to like the next clue, and that was like another plot thing that was going to continue with the later seasons. It would have been fine, I felt, if they had kind of dragged finding Matt out a little more, because it didn't need to be so clean. It was nice, but it didn't need to be that clean. So, but yeah. Do you think when this show wraps up, we'll finally get all the answers to the questions, or do you think we're going to still have some things like what happened to Earth not ever answered?
I imagine there's going to be plenty of things that aren't answered, because at the moment they've dropped hints at plenty of things that should be explained more, and then in addition to that, we can speculate on things that we want explained more, like the Earth thing. And I just don't think they're going to wrap all those up.
No, I don't think so. I honestly don't. No, I don't think so either.
I hope this show has enough momentum and fan following to get to the point where the writers can make a definite ending. Because I hate it when shows end and there's just nothing there. Like when a show ends before the writers intended to end it, so there's no actual conclusion. Yeah. So I do hope they get to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to do that. They're gonna have to
enough to get people to
step up your game in season 5.
Yeah. Do we have a release date or any knowledge of season 5? Because I know when we got season 3, they'd already put out a release date for season 4, but I don't know if they've done that with this new season.
I don't know. Let me see. I wonder if that's in it. So, in this article, they're talking about how the third season, the way Studio Mirror must have put it was that the third season would be split into 2. So we got 7 episodes and 6 episodes. Yeah. So I wonder if it feels better if you watch it all.
Season 3 and 4 all together.
All together as one season. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that and see. I'll mention it maybe if I do it. Yeah.
If they do a DVD release or whatever, it might be kind of neat. Seasons 5 and 6 release date.
Nothing official about season 5 or 6.
Okay. So we're assuming that 3 and 4 are basically quote unquote season 3, and then 5 and 6 will be season 4 quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote.
13 episodes again. So 5 and 6 will probably be 6 and 7 episodes.
Yeah, likely. So essentially, there's no actual release date that we could see for the new seasons, but it seems like the article that I was reading speculated that it would be a 2018 thing, so we probably won't get them. Like, I don't think we'll get season 5 in December. It'll roll over until January or February. I hope it's January, because that's when we got season 2 this past year.
I kind of understand their logic of having the shorter seasons more often, but I'd rather a longer season.
I would too at this point. Seeing this, because I mean, season 3 was great. Yeah, I loved it. And if this had been on par with season 3, I would have been all right with them continuing to do this. But it seems to me like they're not actually writing a 13-episode season that they're splitting into 2 parts. It seems like they're just taking them 6 to 7 episodes at a time. Yeah. And I don't feel like that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because not every, span of 6 or 7 episodes of a show are going to be that great. Like if you'd taken like an anime, like a long running, like Naruto, and you split it up into 6 episode seasons, there'd be a lot of awful seasons of Naruto.
Yeah. Because it also does seem like at the start of this episode, start of the season, we were supposed to assume that it had been, I'd say, several months since the end of season 3, or at least a couple months, because at this point, Keith has been going on a bunch of missions with the Blade of Marmora. Yeah. I don't know. The show's still good.
It's still fine.
Still worth a watch, and I'm still going to watch more of it.
I'm sticking around. I still have Netflix. Still has my thumbs up on the show. I wonder if they'll make it a feature so that you can thumbs up or thumbs down individual seasons of a show or individual episodes of a show to show that I didn't like this. I did like good. This.
Kill season 4.
Right.
Or that's season 4. Episode 4.
Episode 4, yeah, of season 4. 4 of 4. Ugh. Yeah, but
it's good. It's worth a watch. I'd say again. I'm still of the opinion that this is the weakest season of the 4.
Yes.
But I'm still happy to see it.
Yeah,
it's still good.
Yeah, it's still not the worst thing I've seen.
Easily.
Yeah,
it's still a lot of fun.
Yep.
So yeah.
I think that's the show.
I think so as well.
How can they reach us, Ethan?
Oh, you can reach us on the Twitters at TNYKPod, as well as on Facebook at TNYKPod, Those Nerds You Know. You can reach us on YouTube, Those Nerds You Know. We have a Gmail. It's Those Nerds You Know Those Nerds You Know pod at gmail.com.
That's the different one, yeah.
And then there's our podcast is on Podbean and iTunes, and again on YouTube. We're hopefully trying to get it onto the
Play Store
for Android, and hopefully eventually other places as well. We'll see.
Where do you guys want to hear the podcast? What's an easier app for you?
Tell us that.
Tell us that.
What's best for you?
Yep. What'd you guys think of season 4? What are you guys looking forward to in season 5? Let us know in the Twitters, Facebook, email us. Check us out.
Yep. Do that for us. But yeah, that's it. I'm Ethan.
And I'm David.
And we're Those Nerds You Know.
Bye!